Entrepreneurship is not as glamorous as many people picture it to be. Kind of the opposite, actually, in the beginning. It's ugly, boring, and very stressful. It's interesting because a lot of people tend to share the success. You actually hear about them when they're successful, right? And that's when they start sharing the past and telling you about how everything began and they started from nothing. And of course, it's usually the truth. It's just not the same. It doesn't have the same impact as seeing it while it's happening. And I want to challenge that. It's raining like crazy outside, and oops, this is the fit. Okay, this is in the way, but ba-bam, we are ready to fly. It's raining like crazy. Gotta go to work. 6 months ago, I got laid off from my corporate job. I used to do sales at a tech company, and I decided to take a leap of faith and work on my dream project. I had this idea for quite some time, about 2-3 years, and I've been trying to save money to do it. And when I got laid off, I was like, you know what? This is the time to do it. I want to open a manga cafe in Montreal. I'm doing this for myself. I want to have my own library of manga and coffee to enjoy and share it with people. It's a dream come true. So for 6 months, you heard me right, I've been going back and forth with the landlord, the architect, the designer, the bank, especially the bank, to get money. The funds are the hardest part. Submitting paperwork, all the stuff for accounting, or the stuff for the corporation, or depending on what business model you're gonna follow, of course. Also the permits, there are so many permits. And during this time, of course, I burned all my savings. And now I'm at a point where I had to work, so now I'm working 2 part-time jobs plus this content stuff and working on the cafe. We're trying our best. And when I say we, it's me and my husband, because he's my partner in this venture. We're working so hard, and there's no way I would have been able to do this without him. What makes the beginnings the hardest is the waiting. Really, the waiting is what drove me crazy, because you end up overthinking every little part. You're like, did I do this wrong? What if they say no? What if I don't get this? What if this does not succeed? And you start entering these loops. I feel like in these 6 months, I learned so much about myself. Entrepreneurs have this, I really respect people who can do this, and I'm learning, hey, have this ability to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and adapt. Meaning, if something does not work, you pivot. You find another solution. It's all about not giving up. And usually I tend to, because I'm so anxious when it comes to not knowing what's going to happen, I tend to give up. And for the first time in my life, I'm so invested. I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna make this happen no matter what. Despite all these hardships, what's interesting is that the journey is fun. You end up not really just focusing on the result. Yes, of course, the result for me, for example, is opening the cafe and then building a community and having people come in and all of that. But that's my main goal. All the little goals that will take me there, I'm not just focused on them. I'm taking it one milestone at a time. And if I have to pivot in between, I do it. I change roads, and that's it. Of course, there are so many things I wish I have done differently. trust me, I felt anger and guilt toward myself for so many things that so many bad decisions and regret. They rejected our loan offer. I have to recalculate everything. This was so stupid. But there's no point in me reminiscing over it. I realized now I'm gonna take those as lessons and I'm gonna move forward and focus on the future. And I think that's a lesson we all should follow. Focus on the journey, enjoy the journey, and have that goal as your North Star and move towards it. Don't let go.